Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rightfully So. I am bringing you a solo episode today. I wanted to do this early on to just briefly share some more insight on who I am, a little more details about myself, get acquainted, since you'll be hearing a lot from me here. And I also have a little secret that I will be sharing with you all that I've been holding on to for a little while, but I'm ready to let it out. And I think you'll be hearing more from me on social media and seeing more from me now that I could share this news. So keep listening for that. For starters, as you know, I am Danyella. I am the host of this podcast. I came to the US when I was 6 years old from Colombia. My father is Brazilian, so I'm half and half, and I love that. I love my culture, I love my heritage, I love my roots, but I also love America. This is home. This has been home, like I said, since I was 6 years old. I know more about this place than anywhere else, but I love the fact that I have, you know, three nationalities. I know three languages. I love the food, like I said, the culture, and having a little bit of many parts of the world in me. It's pretty cool. I love that. I was raised by both my parents, thankfully. I love them so much. They've been amazing, and they're a big reason of why I am who I am. We had a lot of conversations at home that were very different from any conversation that I would have outside of the home. I heard many points of views at home that I didn't hear outside of my home. So I lived in these two worlds where there was this one way of processing and thinking and being treated. Not that the world treats me ugly, but they've really, really treated me great. They're amazing. They love me so much. I love them so much. And they taught me so much. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with having older parents. My mom had me at 45. My dad is younger, but I got to get all the wisdom from them and soak it all up. I have six siblings, one from my dad's side and five from my mom's side. So I never really grew up with them in the home. I was always an only child since I'm the only one between my mom and my dad. So I feel like I got two very different parents, two very different experiences, and half of us is different, or from me at least, and then my one sister from my other five siblings. But it's been a great life. We're the only ones that came here to the US and stayed here and made a life here. And I made two little lives here. I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. I love them all so much. They're a big part of me. I had my daughter pretty young. I was 21. So I considered that super young. Felt like a toddler having a baby. But, it's one of those things that, of course, I wasn't planning it. But I am one of those people that if I make my bed, I lay in it. And I knew at the moment where I found out I was pregnant that, you know what, this is it. I'm having a baby. And for some odd reason, I had this knowing about her being a girl, how she was going to be, a little bit of how she was going to look. It was very strange. And I was really connected from that moment. And I felt like, yeah, I'm going to be a mom and, readjusting the path of my life because obviously I had other plans at that time, many different plans. But it did center me in a lot and it made me grow in a very different way from there than I believe I would have if I didn't have her. And it's been a journey, but it's great. I love it clearly because 5 years later, I had my other little munchkin, and that was very interesting. He was born. We found out while I was pregnant that he had this thing called an atresia while he was in my belly. Definitely will share more about that. I feel like I want to share that story because I don't talk about it much, not because I'm embarrassed or ashamed or anything like that. I just feel that it is our normal life. We've adjusted with it, through it, along the way. And it doesn't define who he is. It's just one aspect of him. The rest is just this wonderful, little, happy, amazing, normal boy. So I will share more about that. And luckily, it is a condition. It's called short gut syndrome now. That's what it resulted in after surgery, after he was born. And luckily, it's something that he should grow out of since our intestines grow as we grow. So I look forward to seeing him thrive even more and growing out of it and becoming just stronger and less dependent on what he's dependent on now. But definitely, I will share because I think stories and hearing other people's experiences and viewpoints and, what they do in certain situations, if God forbid someone ever has to face it or something similar or even something very different that still entails, a child, NICU, that kind of thing is really rough. And knowing that so many people have a story within that frame makes you feel less alone and it teaches you a lot. It gives you peace. So I will come back and give you a little more about that and also the birth and how we found out and all of that. I also do real estate. I'm very passionate about it. I love it. I am so glad that I finally got into the field and went for it and just went 100% on it. It is something that for a long time, I wanted to do, but kept avoiding. And honestly, I've been doing it almost 5 years now, which says a lot because I don't think I've ever done any job longer than 2 years. So, well, a specific place. I did do retail for a couple years and I actually love retail, but career wise, after high school and that kind of thing, I just didn't find anything that really pulled me in. And real estate does that for me. I see myself doing it for a very, very long time. I continue to enjoy it. And it's what I do. It's my career part of life. I have my kids. I have my home. I like to travel. I like, to work out, to do my best to be as healthy as I can. I've been very into longevity and how do I optimize my own body, my own self? How do I live my life in a very healthy, happy way where I could enjoy it? And hopefully, I don't have to wear a diaper when I'm 50 years old. Okay, not many 50-year-olds are wearing diapers, but you know what I mean. I just want to embrace life, enjoy life, and respect my life, really. I think it's about respecting my life. It was my birthday last week, July 9th, so I am now 32 years old. That sounds so old. I feel that younger me would have thought, oh my God, you're ancient. You are a fossil. But no, I'm young at heart. I'm a child, which always makes me think how I have kids because I'm such a kid myself. But that's another thing. I take life very lightly, very seriously in the sense that, like I said, respect for it. But I just try to laugh as much as I can and find humor in everything as much as I can, especially in times where it just feels so sticky, so intense. Very crazy couple of days with those flash floods and all of that. Texas, even up here. I hope everyone is safe. How hard it must be, how scary it must be. So stay safe. Wishing the most beautiful, quick, and easy recovery for anyone who's been hurt. Sending lots of love to the families of those who have been lost. It is just terrible, but we can't go against nature. Sometimes it does what it wants to do, unfortunately. But we could do our best to stay safe and try to stay away from the danger. So a moment for that because there's so much going on. And then on top of that, dealing with something like that is definitely heavy on everyone. Also, you know, I know we've all felt it. It's been very heavy, the climate of the nation, the world, so much division and so much aggressive energy and just dark and and sad and scared people, which is, you feel that. I think we all feel that. And I hope we could start seeing more of that light at the end of the tunnel and finding more peace and realizing that, we're still not in some crazy war yet. We are not in a handmaid's tale life. We still have so many rights, and we just have to make sure that we preserve them and we don't let ourselves get persuaded out of them by, politicians or media or manipulation. I think we need to really, really start using our logic and our cognitive abilities to decipher what's going on, and also just keeping our eyes and ears wide open, really paying attention and not letting our minds float away into fear or any of that, because it's not helping us. And the division too, that's not helping us. But we don't have control over how people feel or react, but we do over ourselves. So I also work on that every day. I've been very, very to myself. I haven't had much of a social life at all. Everyone is in their own thing, doing their own thing, busy with their own priorities. And so have I. And that's okay. Sometimes we go hermit mode. And I feel like when there's too much stimulation and too much craziness, I tend to lock in a little bit. I tend to crab in. I guess maybe that's the cancer baby in me. I put that shell and I just stay in there for a little bit until there's more clarity within myself to be able to come out again. And that's okay. I have a secret, like I told you, and it is exciting news for me. I think at this point, it's not much of a surprise to anyone. I am having baby number 3. Isn't that crazy? I can't believe I'm going to be a mom of 3. I am excited. It was not planned, but not necessarily prevented. Could have happened, and it did. And I low key, last year, I was starting to have this craving for another baby. I think maybe is part of my pattern. Clearly, I have a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, and now 5 years later, another one. So maybe it's just something that my body craves, or I start seeing, my son grow and I'm like, no, I'm losing my little tiny baby and I miss that. But I don't want that pattern anymore. I think that's crazy. Every 5 years, I don't think I wanted it that way. I would have much rather had babies closer in age so they could relate more to each other. But that's also just an idea because I see them interact and they relate to each other. They play, they fight, and they love each other very much. I am excited for that. That's been my little secret. If you're on video, I'm going to attempt to show you this belly. I can't. I am so huge. I feel that at this stage, I'm only in the second trimester and I feel like I'm in my 55th week or something. It might be mental, it might be my own mind. People say that I'm not that big, but it's pretty big. Gender. I love me a gender reveal. I know gender's not a thing anymore, but I love me a gender reveal. I love the idea of knowing, what kind of baby I'm going to have because they are very different, in my opinion, in my experience. So I do know, and I will share more of that. So stay tuned. Any guesses? Any guesses? What do you think? Let's see if you're right. Couple people know. Couple people have seen me in the street and now know. But yeah, this is crazy. I know I didn't announce it as soon as I wouldn't mind to announce. I just felt really protective of it. I don't know. Not even that. I just, like I said, I've been very hermit crab lately, and with that as well. I just felt like, let me hold on to this for a while. And now I'm like, I want to post, and I'm huge. So you'll see more of me because you'll now know. So you'll see more of me because you now know. And I could post my big old belly and really let it be out there. Let it hang. I wonder why it's so big. I wonder if it's a big baby. I don't know. My two kiddos now were 1 ounce apart in weight. I don't think it's a huge baby. Maybe it's just I have more room in there from having two other pregnancies. I've felt pretty good. It's been my pregnancies, thankfully. I they just been so smooth for the most part, you know? I'm sorry if you struggle with morning sickness and things like that. Luckily for me, I never really had that. I had a lot more nausea in the beginning, I feel, than with the other two pregnancies, but nothing too intense, nothing that got me to the point of actually throwing up. So I'm grateful for that because I would be miserable. But it was just a little nausea after 13 weeks that was gone. And I have to remind myself that I'm pregnant sometimes. Not that I could miss it when it's huge right in front of me, but the way I feel. The only thing that's been bothering me a little bit this time around, more than I recall this ever happening before, at least at this stage, is this pelvic pain, TMI. There's this body chemical, let's call it, that you release so that your joints and your ligaments soften for when you are going to deliver. And I feel it's so early to have so much of it. It's called relaxin flowing through my body because it is causing this pelvic discomfort that comes and goes, some days more than others, some moments more than others, but it's not fun. Another thing I'm doing that I'm sure will help, usually not the day of, like I'll feel it more, but the next day after I work out, I was slacking for a couple weeks on my working out, but now I'm back to it strictly. I'm trying to do at least 5 days a week of the gym, and I'm going to keep doing my best to walk a lot. It just feels good to walk a lot, and it definitely helps. I still do prenatal yoga in the same studio that I did yoga with my daughter and with my son, and I figured, I have to keep it up and continue to do that. Maybe that's part of why I have really good labors and delivery. So if it helps in any way, I'm going to make sure I do that as well. The birth plan so far is definitely home birth. If you know me, I'm that crazy girl that just really prefers to have my baby at home. I find it much safer, more comfortable, calmer, just much better to just be home and have the baby. And I say that also because luckily I don't have any complications. I'm not high risk. I don't have any of the markers that will indicate that I should have a medical team right there on me while laboring and delivering. So thanks to that, I know it's a blessing and I'll take that blessing with me and plan for a home birth. Of course, if I feel anything different, if I feel like something's off, if I feel like I should definitely go to the hospital, I definitely will. I know myself and I know when. My intuition just always tells me. So I know if I need to, I will. If God forbid there's any true emergency, I am really close to a couple hospitals. So I'll just hop in and go there. I don't plan much for that because I like to focus on the plan that I want, the best plan, the happy plan, and everything else will be secondary and probably made up along the way, or I'll let other people handle that. But my plan is to focus on the birth that I want and how I want it. Quick and easy, hopefully. I'll share, I'm going to share Paul's birth story and I'll also share my daughter's birth story just so you could get an idea of where I'm coming from because I know that it's such a still, even though so many people have home births or even birth center births, which are a step down from hospital, it's still this negative, scary idea. And many women don't understand it. And I get it. But for me, it's so odd how I feel that way about hospital births. I feel that they're a little scary. I don't want to be in this kind of environment for welcoming my baby into the world. I think about all the germs and all the body fluids, all the things that happen in those rooms, and it just doesn't sit very right with me. But at the same time, I'm so grateful that they exist because in some cases, definitely less than what you see out there, emergencies are truly needed. I won't take that away from anyone. That is a truth that things like C-sections and all of that are overused 100%. But listen, it is what it is. And no matter what your story is, how your labor was, how the birth was, everyone is just in awe of their baby and so happy and grateful when you have that little one in the world. And that's all that matters. I'm taking prenatals. I'm currently taking ritual prenatals. I don't do anything crazy. I have my midwife. This time around, I was a little more into the idea of just looking at everything, look at all my blood work, do all the tests that you can on that. And I did do my 21-week anatomy scan, which thankfully everything looks great. Little baby gave us a smile at the end for a picture. So I have this cute picture of the baby smiling and it's adorable and I love it. And everything looks great. Thankfully, everything's good with the blood work. Intestines are inside the body. Hallelujah. Because I was like, that's the only thing. Look at these dang intestines. I don't need any more games with that. But everything looks good. Luckily, my son's situation was what they call a freak thing. So I wasn't really nervous about something like that happening again, but you never know because bodies are crazy. As miraculous as birth is and creating a human inside your body is, it could also be full of surprises, positive and negative, unfortunately. But all is good. Continue to cross my fingers. So everything is great till the end, and hopefully I have this little baby with us soon. Brother and sister are so excited. They are very happy about it and just ready to meet them. So, with that, thank you for listening. You are the first to know my secret. I'm sure you'll start seeing it on my Instagram soon, the news, and stay tuned for more details. Like I said, the gender and any other stories that I feel I should share with you guys. If there's any questions, definitely share them with me so I could answer that. I do plan on speaking about the topic with others. So definitely shoot me any questions you have about that. It'll be helpful just to make sure that the information I'm putting out there is helpful to you and it's partly what you really want to hear. Thank you for listening, and I will be back soon